So, you're getting started with pixel art and you're having trouble with rocks. Let's get into it. Doing anything in pixel art starts with what it looks like in real life. Pixel art is a reduction, it's an abstraction from reality. So if you have a game that you're making and you need to just draw rocks for that game, I think it's important to think about the landscape that those rocks belong in, because the rocks are obviously part of that landscape, right? Is this igneous rock? Is it the other kinds of rocks, sedimentary? This is really important, right? What it's made of, the material, because different rocks break apart in different ways. And as they age, they might round off with the weather. If they're near a stream, they might become, more softer and more pebble-like. If they're in a more like erosion-centric area, like, around a cliff face where they're likely to fall away from a larger formation, then they might become more rigid and, more jagged. If you're drawing pixel art, the first thing you should do is understand kind of where the thing is coming from. As far as like building up the shapes of rocks, it's actually not that hard once you get the hang of it. This is kind of like a core fundamental exercise for learning how to render in pixel art, and it's a great exercise for just getting an understanding of light, shades, and shadows, volumes, that kind of stuff. So today we're going to cover my approach for how I do this kind of thing, and maybe leave you hopefully with an exercise that you can use to improve. So the first thing I'll do is just kind of share my broad approach, which is to build shapes. We could just take like a general mid-tone color here in any drawing app and just draw out something. And for me, the silhouette's the most important thing. There's a very common kind of like big rock, little rock thing that I do quite often. Right. So it's like, oh, there's a larger rock and then there's like a smaller rock that's like next to it that's kind of like broken up. Maybe there's something in the foreground, something like this. So like as a silhouette, I might just do that. Right. That's how I start. And then I'm thinking about, okay, where is the light coming from? And how does that light actually interact with the forms? So I'll pick a lighter color and then I'll start just drawing secondary shapes. Let's say the light's coming from over here. Okay. So now I'll think about, okay, maybe this goes all the way over here, right? And I'm trying to think about the 3D forms of the shape, right? Where that light's going to hit, where it's not going to hit based on the light source. This is probably going to go all the way to the edge, so we can do that. And it's really just about what the light can see. If you put yourself looking here down that way, where would the light go? And as you go, it's really just about making secondary shapes, right? This is like these two shades create new shapes that sort of give us a 3D feeling, right? We're kind of understanding the volume of what the thing is that we're creating. So already we've got something that's pretty usable. And obviously, like, this big block here, it's going to cast a shadow on this, right? Maybe you wouldn't see much of this light. So maybe that would cast out like that. And then, we could say, well, on the very edges, it might still get a little bit, maybe that would still get some over here. This might not. Right? Super simple. Start with a silhouette, break it up into a way that looks interesting to you, and then think about logically, okay, if this line is here and it's receiving light, well, then it can't be receiving light over here, right? It's an additive process. What I tend to do is once I have those two main colors, every other color has to be less volume related to that extra color. There's going to be very little surface area dedicated to this if this is a sharp edge. So from here, I might then go down to something darker and only reserve that for the parts that really don't receive much light. Okay, that's like the parts that are in like the shadow of shadows. And that's how I break out those very last kind of little shapes to differentiate the bits and pieces. So now we've got something that's pretty good. I mean, even that just there is going to get us pretty close for what we need in a pixel art context, right? There's not really much more than that. You can obviously add a few shades here and there. What I love to do is this extra sort of slice away very often. It's like there was kind of like a chip that came off the thing. So thinking about like, like as if the rock is made of layers and you've just shaved away the corner of one layer. So that's my approach. Let's take it to a sprite and start doing it from there. So I'm going to give you, let's go 96 by 96 pixels, and then let's do the exact same thing. So what I'll do is I'll hit U twice so that I get this nice solid rectangle. On a new layer, let's create some rocks. I'm going to pick a mid-tone and I'm just going to start blocking in that first shape. Maybe this one will have like, it'll be like mostly one big boulder. That's now on the left side. And that looks pretty good. Maybe we'll split this up like that. Cool. Okay. Since it's pixel art, it might be nice to just make sure this edge is kind of a little straighter. And if you are going to have edges, like kind of make them confident, right? So, using the same angles everywhere rather than having the angles change all the time can be a nice way of like just making it feel intentional. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then I take my second color, right? We're going to either use the shade brush here to just go boop, 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 boop. Or what you can do is you can just press W and then click in the area if you really want. And then you can pick, just start painting in that way. So it's whatever you want to do to allow you to kind of have the option to not screw up your silhouette because you put effort into that, right? You want to keep that. So for me, I'll use the shade tool, which is here inside of the ink options for the main brush. And all you do for that is you just drag two colors and then start painting, and then it'll replace one with the other. So I like to top light most of the time when I'm doing pixel art, because if it's daylight, it's usually coming from the top. That's just the easiest way to think about this kind of stuff. So let's keep the light source pretty straightforward. And there you go. So we're really just, we're just thinking, okay, well, there's going to be a surface here. All this horizontal lines kind of tells me that there's a horizontal surface here. And I'm just arbitrarily really just picking a spot for that to end, right? There's no real reason why it needed to end here. I could have done another layer here and that works too. As long as I can kind of accentuate and give reason for this little crack here. So adding a split here might help explain that a little bit more. So I can do that. And then, if I've got this here, I might just run it around the side because that makes sense to me. You can even join these shapes, right? The shapes don't have to be separate. You can kind of have them be what I call open shapes. And those open shapes give you the sense that it's a continuous kind of like texture, even if you're using two completely separate colors, you've only got two colors, the fact that this color bleeds into that makes it feel like more of a gradual surface. Okay, so now we can go one darker, pick my two colors, and start thinking about dropping it in. And again, being very sparing, increasingly sparing with these colors, the more they kind of separate from that original base two colors we've got, make them even more sparing. And the contrast between the dark color and the light color, the sharper that contrast, the more of a hard edge it looks like we're working with. So I'm going to reserve only things that are directly facing us and in shadow for that third color. We could do a little bit of anti-aliasing here just to kind of give it a bit smoother of an effect. A little bit of dithering. Okay. And then maybe one more brighter color if we want for the very, very sharpest, lightest, brightest edges, right? That's our specular highlight. These are the parts of the rock that are just catching the light most directly. And again, very sparing, right? The further away you go from those two original colors that we picked, the fewer pixels you get to spend, right? And it's just about finding believable shapes. Ultimately, you don't have to like have this all figured out at the start. Sometimes it's just an exercise in discovery. That's what I love about pixel art or art in general. Happy little shapes, right? So, we can go one more darker if we really want. I always find it's fun to just sort of see how far you can push things, and you can always undo them if you don't get what you want out of it. Like maybe that's too dark in those areas. We could keep it even more sparing, just like a couple pixels here and there, where it's like really, really tight. or even just to provide more texture. Now, I will show you my favorite trick. This is how you show details without adding too much texture. Okay, this is a rectangle. It's a brown rectangle. The second you do this, now it's timber, right? Now it's a wood plank. What did I do? I didn't draw the grains all the way across, right? I didn't sit there and texture it all. All I did was suggest lines that went all the way through. I just gave you the idea, right? This is what's called like a Gestalt principle of closure or continuity. So it just means that your brain is designed to see things and project all the way across to fill in the gaps, right? To fill in the blanks. So you could keep going, right? But you kind of don't even need to. That's enough to tell you that this is wood. So same thing here. If you want to kind of hint, you can see I'm already doing it. If you want to kind of hint that this is cracked across this line, you don't have to close that loop. You can, but you don't have to, right? You get pretty close just by doing kind of like, even that will get you pretty close. So what I like to do is wherever I think I've got maybe a little shelf, I just suggest that that shelf exists a little harder, right? Just apply a little bit more intention so that your brain can go, oh yeah, just making suggestions. Sometimes I look at it and I think, oh, I've probably gone too far with some of this stuff. Maybe the detail is too much. So I'll just work it back. There's no problem with that. It's a digital medium. You can press undo as many times as you like. Go back to the start if you want. Ultimately, your goal is to end up with a design that feels confident. And you can wrestle with it. Like, I don't mind if you just go back and forth tinkering with things, as long as you feel like you're getting value out of it. And that's a skill that takes a long time to get confident with, is knowing when you've gone too far or if you're actually making progress still. That's okay though. If you're still beginning, that's fine. I mean, even as an expert, you find yourself pixel pushing pretty regularly. It's kind of what pixel art is, isn't it? The next thing that I'll do is try to make this feel more integrated in the environment that it's currently sitting in. So we've got this green here. It's really, really easy to add a contact shadow, right? This is just like where this is directly casting onto the grass below. And then right on top, we could add a new layer and just get some of this grass and now go over the rock, right? We want to work it in so that it feels like it's part of this environment. So it ends up looking a lot more subtle when we do that. Even behind if you want. And of course, you can add more of these highlights if you want. And you can see, I make changes pretty late, even if I feel like it. Sometimes you just need stronger shapes, now that you've got a lot more noise and contrast throughout the whole thing. And there you have it. Pixel art rocks. If you must outline them, you can just grab the entire layer and then pick your darkest color, press OK, and that gives you your outline. You can also obviously use your shade tool to shade the outline if you want. So you can make that outline a little bit lighter on the areas that are a little bit lighter, and that'll kind of help soften it a little bit. And then if you are doing outlines, you can have that outline creep in a little bit to create a little bit of a stronger sense that the outline is like a shader with depth, right? It's like depth aware. That will help create those forms a little bit more strongly, right? Because you've actually got layers now coming forward towards the camera instead of just around the outline like a card. So think about that too when you're working. So that's my general approach to pixel art rocks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.